Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and open tonight's regular session, and I will invite you to please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Super. We're going to move forward with our roll call tonight with our city clerk.
Mayor Saavedra.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Belton.
Here.
Councilmember Prieto Duval.
Here.
Councilmember Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember Garza.
Here.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Here.
Awesome. I give a warm welcome to everyone this evening. And we're going to move on to item number 2 and the approval of tonight's agenda. I will entertain a motion, Council.
I will move to approve this evening's agenda in its entirety.
I'll second.
Great. We have a motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Belton, seconded by Councilman Sanchez, to approve tonight's agenda in its entirety. Any further discussion, Council? All in favor signified by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to item number 3, a proclamation for tonight that I will be reading. And this proclamation is honoring the Toppenish High Wildcats girl wrestling team, 5 boy wrestlers, team coaches, and volunteer coaches for winning the 2025 State Girls Wrestling Team Championship title, the 5 boy wrestlers winning individual championship titles, and the 4 girl wrestlers winning individual championship titles. And this is how the proclamation reads. This proclamation is honoring the Toppenish High School Wildcats girls wrestling team, 5 boy wrestlers, team coaches, and volunteer coaches for winning the 2025 States Girl Wrestling Team Championship titles, the 5 boy wrestlers winning individual championship titles, and the 4 girls wrestlers winning individual championship titles. Whereas 15 young women of the Toppenish High School girls wrestling team participated in the 2025 State Wrestling Championship Tournament in Tacoma, including Jade Johnson, Aaliyah Gonzalez, Sofia Torres, Adeline Montiel, Shania Turula, Lindsay Ortega, Jocelyn Chavez, Jasmine Botello, Tayan Grover, Sarah Ortega, Octavia John, Michaela Torres, Jordan Zuniga, Yvette Esquivel, and Charlene Underwood. And whereas 5 young men of the Toppenish High School boys wrestling team won individual 2025 State Wrestling Championship titles at the tournament in Tacoma, including first-time state championship, my nephew, Isaiah Rios. Is he here? Oh, man, guys, you guys have to get on him. 3-time state championship, Steve Romero Jr. Is he here? Yeah. Woohoo! Justice Zuniga and Anthony Nava, and top high record-setting 4-time state champion, Keanu Zuniga. Are you here tonight? Woohoo! Yeah, 4-time state champ. Whereas 4 young women of the Toppenish High School girls wrestling team won individual 2025 State Wrestling Championship titles at the tournament in Tacoma, including first-time state champion Sara Ortega and 3-time state champion Sofia Torres. Are you here, Sofia? No? Oh, girl. Adeline Montiel and Michaela Torres also are 3-time state champions. Whereas both teams succeeded from the dedicated efforts of team coaches Jose Pepe Segovia, Sergio Morales, Austin Kenter, Zachariah Romero, Jefferson Sandcliffe, Jennifer Gonzalez, and volunteer coaches Manuel Arambul, Anthony Zuniga, Mike Torres, Abel Nava, Steve Romero, Miguel Montiel, and Jose Vela. And whereas the achievements of these Toppenish Wildcats exemplifies the power of teamwork, perseverance, and a will-do attitude that led to personal success and championship victories. And whereas the Toppenish High Wildcat Girls Wrestling Team 2025 State Wrestling Team Championship title, along with the 5 individual boy wrestling champions, have garnered positive recognition for themselves, their school, and the Toppenish community, filling us with great pride for the youth of our city. Now, therefore, we hereby give recognition to the outstanding athletic achievements of these young women, young men, team coaches, and the volunteer coaches by proclaiming March 2025 through March 28, 2025 to be Top High Wildcats Girls and Boys Wrestling Week. Woohoo! We encourage the Toppenish community to congratulate these young men, young women, and team coaches and volunteer coaches for the remarkable accomplishments in winning the 2025 State Wrestling Championship titles and bringing these honors to our community. The office of the mayor, I hereby unto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Toppenish to be affixed this 24th day of March, 2025. Please join me in giving a round of applause to our wrestlers. Yay. And I'm going to ask the council to please stand. If the wrestlers and the coaches want to come through, we'd like to shake your hand and just congratulate you and thank you.
Can we stand too?
You're going to hand those now. You can hand.
You're gonna hand these?
We're going to do them both. Okay?
Okay.
There we go.
That's what I assumed.
Yes. Hi, congratulations here. This is for you. And then also, sorry. I'm holding you guys up. And there you go. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. We have a pin for you as well. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
You guys are awesome. Here, let me see. Congratulations. Good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome.
Anything to hold on to?
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Yes. Échale ganas. Do your very best in school. Congratulations. Thank you, mija. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Thank you, mija. There you go.
Congratulations.
Thank you, mija. Good to see you. There you go. Thank you so much. We have a here.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Andale, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, mija. You guys are awesome.
Congratulations.
There you go. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Smile.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Congratulations.
Hi, mijo.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Hey. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thanks for coming. Oh, yes, absolutely. We do have some extras. If you need any more, we'll give you a little handful of pins, okay? Just let me know, okay? Ándale. You guys take care. Thank you. Ándale. Thank you so much, eh? Ándale, take care.
Toppenish girls and Ranger girls.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
See. Oh, yes. Oh, darn it. I should have asked them to stay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be awesome. I know. We're going to bring
Everybody
them
back.
I know. They're like, come back. There's a group of them outside still. Here, don't go. They're going to be coming back. They're going to bring them back in here.
My ladies.
Hey, come on over, ladies. Yes.
You didn't get your pin yet.
Guys,
We'll get whoever's out there.
Round
Yes.
three.
Come on in, guys. Come on in.
You're like, gosh, we did this once. I'm sorry. Oh, no, it's good. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You might want
Now
to
you have to
start
have your
doing
picture taken.
folding.
Yeah. And then see if you can come around the front. You may have to get down a little bit, okay? So that you guys don't cover each other up. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah. Just squeeze in, okay?
Make them all come up.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, let's-
Great job. I know.
We don't
He's
want
taller.
this-
Yeah, come on in. Squeeze in the front a little bit, guys. There you go. Can you get them all in? Okay. Can you get them all in? Yeah? Okay, great. Ready, guys? There you go.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you, guys. Woo! Go Wildcats!
You can tell I'm old school.
Oh,
One,
I'm
two,
so
three. I was
glad.
waiting for the flag.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad though you asked
Yeah.
him to stay.
Just started blinking.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Well, there's some strong grips there, I'll tell you.
Yeah? Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Boys, too.
Yeah.
Boys.
That's always so exciting. Love to recognize our young men and women here
We're really
in our city.
Yeah, it is.
So we're going to move on to item number 4, presentation, and we're going to receive a presentation from the Yakima Valley Conference of Government. And here we have Ms. Chris Wickenhagen. Woohoo! Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council, City Manager, for having me. I love coming to Toppenish and sharing with you guys everything that is going on. And so you have a book, but we also have it up on the screen so that people can see what is happening throughout our valley. Because if it is good in one community, it is good for our entire valley, which is something that is very exciting for me.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh,
Okay.
so the first page. Oh, Kim. That's just weird. The first part of this is not advancing.
I think she needs some help clicking forward.
I don't know.
Do you want me to hit it?
You might have hit I'm glad I learned how to flip a page.
Right. We're old school, aren't we, Lauren?
Yes, I hear you.
Love it. There we go. So our chair again this year is Jim Restucci. He has been our chair for multiple years and has served in Sunnyside on their council as their mayor pro tem. He also serves with the Washington State Transportation. He's one of the commissioners there and working on some of the difficult decisions that have to be made about our roads. But his message is to the electeds for your support for COG. Our Outstanding Service Award this last year went to Senator King. He has put in so much to bring different projects and funding to our communities, especially in the transportation world. He is one of the senior senators on that. He also is a huge supporter of the Crime Lab and was successful with helping us get some additional funding for that. This is your executive committee, your policy board, and the general membership. So general membership was Nyla, which we appreciate very much. She comes to the meetings to make sure that Toppenish voice is always heard. And so when we are discussing different programs or we bring in other organizations that discuss different services maybe that are also in our communities, Nyla has had an opportunity to talk with them and to make sure that Toppenish is also being served. So Nyla, as I said, is serving Toppenish, and then each of the other communities have a person also. So everybody has an equal voice at our table. Whether you're the size of Toppenish or the size of Yakima, doesn't matter. Equal voice, which we're very proud of. And then that general membership votes on who our executive committee is. And our executive committee, they just see the day-to-day operations at COG. So they approve our budget, our payables, things like that. And then this was your staff for 2024. Not everybody is still here at COG. We've had some retirements and some people that have moved on to other roles, like Vicki Baker, who is now at City of Yakima and doing an amazing job. Very proud of her. But this is a staff that works for you. And when I say they truly work for you, they are an extension. And so if you tap into their services, all that you are paying for would be their hourly rate along with the overhead charges that come with the staff. Doing it again, Heidi. Thank you. So the first program we're going to talk about is the local crime lab. First full year in operation. It was an amazing year for the crime lab. We had, as you can see, lots of people touring, lots of people very interested in what we're doing, and a lot of other communities wanting to be a part of this. It was our police chiefs during 2024 that said, nope, we don't want to have a backlog like the state crime lab does, so we're going to focus just on us. So we had 3 years of truly focusing on us. We were able to receive additional funding from the state. So we received $395,000 that went towards fentanyl deaths, cleaning up the record system that law enforcement and fire use. And when I say that, it's because we couldn't pull good data out because our agencies were entering data in different ways. And so we've brought everybody to the table and said, okay, how can we do this with the least amount of disruption and getting everybody to code things the same way? It's been very, very beneficial. The other funding source that we received was to help us with the rapid DNA. And I'm very excited about that. So this last year for the city of Toppenish specific, so you can see what the stats are for the entire community, the whole valley. Mm-hmm. But for Toppenish, we did test firing of 6 different guns. We did latent prints for 2 of them. We did DNA swabbing on 3. We processed 114 cartridge cases. We processed 8 cell phones, so the extraction of cell phones. And I always like to stop there for a moment. So when we're looking at the firearms, what that means is that your law enforcement received that is out of those 31 entries, 18 of those were related to other gun crimes. Not necessarily in Toppenish. Crime crosses all of our jurisdictional boundaries, so they could be in Granger, Yakima, they could be in the Tri-Cities, but it was connected to 18 other crimes. That's where law enforcement takes over, and they do what they do to make sure that they're getting the correct people. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, did you have a question?
I guess I kind of want to hear from the chief. Is that how good has this program been for the city of Toppenish?
Very beneficial. Given us a lot of leads and solvability factors that we weren't having. So, very helpful.
Thank you.
And then the last part of the crime lab is just some of the definitions. As government, we get so used to the terminology that we use that it's really important to share with you that when we're talking about NIBIN or rapid DNA, what that actually means. And our rapid DNA is up and running, which is very exciting. And it's going to be very beneficial, I think, in 2025. So we did just get that up and running. Ooh, do you remember when that was, Chief? No. Yeah, I don't remember either. It was yeah, it was pretty, it's been a little bit. Next, strategic facilitation. So we provided 3 of our member cities their board retreats where we came in and worked with them for a couple days to go through what their priorities are. And really the benefit of that is to make sure everybody is on the same page so that when you're giving direction to your city manager, he knows exactly what the priorities are and he can keep you guys in between those rails. Because sometimes we can come in with other things that we've just heard about and we're super excited and they need to bring us back to staying focused on what our priorities are. So we did one in Sela, which was very beneficial, I think, for them because they also had a new city administrator who was really learning what council wanted. Then we did Union Gap, and with all of their growth, it was extremely important to be able to step back and kind of break those things down. And then Grandview, this was our third year at Grandview, and they did it a little bit different. The first day, they brought in all of their department heads and had them come to council and share what their needs were for the budget. And then the next day, the department heads were not there, and it was just council. And we got to really go through and look at those budget requests and be able to prioritize. And it really helped them to hear from their own staff first and then make some of those decisions. We also have started some multimedia. So we're doing some cogcasts, which I know you guys have seen, which have been very beneficial. So we're bringing in different people with different information, initiatives, things that might be of interest. And of course, it is open to you. So when you have great things coming up and you want to make sure that the community knows about those, cogcasts are the way to go with this younger generation. And so you can see up there the different QR codes for people to be able to just access those. Our transportation planning, they were very busy this last year. So in 2024, they were able to adopt the required 20-year transportation plan for the entire valley. And we kind of giggle and say, 20 years, who can project out 20 years with as fast as everything is moving? But it is a requirement, and it does allow you to continue to receive federal funding for us to complete that plan. And so it is done. WashDOT has it. The feds blessed it. And so start applying for that funding. Some of the things that happen in transportation for Toppenish is that we will be contracting in June to start your SR 97 I-82 Freight Express Route Corridor Study. This has been on the books a long time. And COG finally decided that we were going to stop going out and trying to get funding for our members to be able to do these feasibility studies that are so important. And so part of the funding that we receive, we're turning around and partnering with WashDOT to get these done for you. Once these feasibility studies are done, it will allow you then to be able to take that data and to move forward with your projects if you choose to do so. We also will be working with your staff as far as the regional safety action plan. So our cities have them individually. We are going to create one that will include all of our cities. The reason that we are doing that is the exact same reason that we took back the feasibility studies. Our cities are having to compete against each other, and we're competing against the West Side. What we have learned over the past couple years is that when we go in as a whole region, the whole valley, and we apply for funding for sidewalks, it can cover 6 of our cities instead of each individual city needing to do it themselves. And so we're going to be working with your staff, with your safety action plan, and making sure that we include that in our plan also. We're also going to be working with your public works staff to discuss the 97 Heritage Connectivity Trail planning. You were also awarded a $400,000 carbon reduction grant award for new street sweeper. The traffic counts is something that we always do for you also. And again, that data is what you need when you're applying for funding. And we will be doing that again in September for you guys. So it's coming again. And then we are the transportation planning organization that is working with the federal government on passenger rail and trying to get them back in here. And Alan is doing an amazing job. So there is one transportation planning organization on our side of the state, and that is us. And so we're trying to be the voice for multiple cogs throughout the state, because there are a lot of us, but we all want passenger rail back in here, and trying to figure out how to fund that, and the priority of that is something that Alan's working with the feds. You're going to see that our website is a little bit different. So we did try to go through and make it much easier for your staff to find what they need, find different applications. We broke it out into the different programs right now so that they can go directly to that program, and they're not wasting a lot of time trying to find a contract or things like that. We do the land use planning also. So we are doing 9 of the climate elements for our cities. And we're doing 8 of the comprehensive plan update. And then we're also doing current planning for our cities. And so you can see all of the different cities and some of the different projects that they have going. And, everything centers around transportation and your codes, your zoning codes. And so having those two work hand in hand is very beneficial. And then, of course, we do the GIS, the mapping. That's a great visual when you are communicating with other people and trying to show them what is allowable and what isn't in your city. So it's really just taking what you have decided as a council of the different zoning and being able to put that up on a map for people and do what we call overlays, which is different levels of the planning process and what's allowable. We are still doing a community law enforcement partnership. This really is a lot of outreach, a lot of working with law enforcement, with block watches, with business block watches, with graffiti abatement, cleanups of community, just really trying to have the community take ownership for the way that their communities are looking, and to be able to work with law enforcement when somebody does see graffiti. Who do they call? How can they get it removed right away? Then housing is actually what started here in Toppenish. So excited for you guys. So our housing program, Toppenish, is still the fiscal pass-through of what is called the CDBG grant. So it's just a specific grant for the home rehab. And then we also have a healthy home grant. We have been able to do 6 homes in Toppenish this last year, which is pretty exciting. So some of those, it can be a roof, it can be a new power box, it can be a new heater. The one story that I have been sharing this year was we had a person, a lady who was a homeowner, because all of these are homeowners, who was diagnosed with cancer, could not stay in her home, so she was couch surfing because her power box could not handle the equipment that she was plugging in, and they were just 110s. So we were able to go in for like $3,200 and fix that, which allowed her to actually go back home and recover there with her equipment. And that was, we might as well have just given her the world. That was everything for her.
Yeah.
And then you can see some of the letters that we have received of people who are so appreciative of it. And I love to share with people, it's not us, it's you guys. It's you guys that allow us to do this work in your communities. We're part of a wellness program at COG, which we're very proud of, and we have some great competitions with some of our other cities out there that are also part of the wellness program, because we're all part of AWC. So when they have their big kickoffs, we have fun little bets, and somebody's going to buy somebody ice cream. That's bottom line. And then our future priorities, and I'm going to grab my book for the future priorities because I can't see that far. So we're going to start workforce development, and we're very excited about that, working with Heritage College here, YVC, because what we're hearing from our members is that it's really hard to find somebody who has experience in government accounting, in public works, in those types of roles where it's so different than the private sector. And so being able to bring somebody in with an internship and place them with our cities for a couple weeks at a time and have them move around and learn actually what that job is. And hopefully we will be able to produce people who have that experience, who now have the education where we can just feed our members those types of individuals when those jobs become available. Transportation, we will be going out with a call for projects for $5 million. Same thing with the congestion mitigation and air quality. This next year, we are looking at all of our projects, and your public works person is always a part of the TAC. So thank you for that. Your voice is being heard. We appreciate that. Planning, our planning staff is very busy, as I said, with a lot of priorities by the state, and then also some things that our cities want them to do as far as current planning. Graphic design, so the book that you have in front of you, Jody did a lot of that. So she does do posters, she'll do brochures. So if you guys have outreach or something that you want a brochure made up for, Jody can do that for you. The community law enforcement program, we're continuing to do the outreach. We're continuing working with law enforcement with any way that we can partner to get your people more involved with creating public safety here, with it being their priority also. Housing, so along with the programs that I just shared, we did receive another grant that actually is called Major Repairs, so that can be up to $50,000 on a home. So if we go in and they say, they don't have running water, we can look at that. Well, if they also don't have a floor in their bathroom, we can repair that also. So they have to be homeowners, they have to live in the home year round, and there are some income requirements. So everybody has an intake and they're qualified for that. Target Zero, we are the new host agency for Target Zero. So Target Zero is a program by the safety transportation, and that really is reducing fatalities on highways for distracted driving or driving under the influence to a zero. So that's why it's called Target Zero. And we work with your law enforcement and also some of your community members. We also look at seatbelt restraints and making sure that kids are buckled in correctly, and how can we assist in those ways. The new facility at the crime lab is our focus. We are required to be out of the sheriff's office at the end of 2026. So I know that we did tour a facility here in Toppenish. It may be cost prohibitive, but we are still looking. We're looking everywhere. And so that is my report. The last couple pages is our revenue and expenses, and then the assessment and the crime lab assessment. And I always show it because it's your money. It's your services. It's we want to be as transparent as we can. There's only a few things that are confidential, and it's all with the crime lab. And your chief would have to take me out if I said anything. So, but other than that, we are completely transparent, and hopefully, if you have any questions at all, you will always pick up the phone and give me a call. And I would love to answer any questions or.
Great. Are there any questions, council? Anything came to mind?
Just want to
Councilman-
thank you
oh,
for a
Mayor
great
Pro Tem.
job as usual.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Garza?
It's a lot of information.
It is a lot. Yeah, I know. I talk fast.
That was very insightful, but I was just wondering about passenger railroad. Can you elaborate, like, how does that work?
So right now, Amtrak does provide passenger rail, but you jump on in Pasco, and then the next stop is Spokane, and then Seattle. We would like to see passenger rail back through the Yakima Valley. It was here once before. There would need to be some repairs on the tracks, but we believe that we would have the riders that would be interested in taking passenger rail that live in our community.
Wow. And that would go pretty much through the whole valley?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah. And if and I can actually send you what Amtrak has currently and what the proposed is, and then you can see how that goes through the Yakima Valley.
Any other questions, council? No. I had a question about the community law enforcement program outreach.
Yes.
Is the Yakima Nation involved with that at all? Have they shown any interest in forming those or networking or collaborating with through that?
Yeah, so, we have a great relationship with staff. And then at the same time, we definitely respect that they are sovereign. And so those talks are continuing, and we do believe that they are going to want to be more involved. I know that their staff would love to be able to use some of our services. It's just that they are sovereign and finding that
Common ground, maybe?
Yeah, being able to be of assistance to them and not interfere with how they do things. Very important.
Yep.
So, the
Okay.
conversations are continuing.
Okay, thank you for that. I was asking just because, especially in our city, there's a very unique dynamic there when it comes to law enforcement and just helping address some of the concerns that we have when it comes to law enforcement needs. And I know that there definitely needs to be some collaboration from both entities just because we work so closely together, or we're located so closely together. So thank you for that.
You do. And some of the incidents, you would need both somebody from Toppenish and somebody from the nation. So, it's a very unique situation. And,
Okay.
Yeah, we'll work through it.
Great. I know that the conversation about passenger trains has been kind of thrown around over the last, I think the first time I heard about it was maybe 2 years ago. And so I'm glad that hasn't completely died out. I know that there were some questions about funding and whether it was even something that was going to be able to be implemented just because of the costs associated to that. But I think it would be really neat for people to be able, especially when it comes to the topic of transportation. So in our rural communities, I think especially with the type of communities that we have, I think it would just give that added incentive for people to be able to move around between cities and just kind of go about their life. So I really like that idea as well. But are there any other questions, Council? Councilwoman Duvall.
So I know that we use not us, but CSN organizes community cleanups in the fall and the spring. If they wanted to reach out to you for support in our community cleanup, I know they do, they paint over graffiti. You guys provide the paint, because I know we have a graffiti abatement program here, but for those specific events, if we wanted to partner with YBCOG, how would that work?
Yeah, we would love to be able to come out and really get your community involved in doing that. So a lot of it is connecting with different community members and letting them know that, hey, this is the day we're all going to be out there. And it's kind of crazy, but they love working right next to those law enforcement people, you know, to paint out graffiti together. They feel like they're actually doing something really important. And so we just make sure that we listen to them, and then we share that information back with either the council or the chief or your city manager.
Great. I also wanted just to point out the housing services programs that you have and the emergency repair program. I know that it's extremely important, especially for people that are age 55 or older, a lot of the times because they've either transitioned into retirement or really close to it. They're sometimes very strapped for funding, just to be able to upgrade some of those things. And so I'm really happy to hear how some of our community members have benefited from that. There are things that I think sometimes that our community doesn't hear about, which is very unfortunate. But I appreciate the fact that this information is being shared. And then the other thing was on the $400,000 that was awarded to our city for the new street sweeper. Our city manager did share that information a bit. I think he's going to share a little bit more about that tonight as well. And so I'm just really thankful because, you know, it's important that the community is aware that although these are things that are that we may not discuss at every single meeting, our city staff is constantly aware of those needs. And so collaborating with YVCOG and also with their support, I just want to make it clear to the community that there's always this effort, and it may not be very public just because I've never been the type of person who likes to count on something unless we know we have it, right? And so, you know, there's always this effort from our staff, from each department lead, that they're working, right? So they're not only trying to put out these major fires that we have in our city with our big projects, but they also have that in the back of their mind. And so when we get news like that, I'm just so grateful. So it's been on the mind of several residents. A lot of people have noticed. What people are not aware of is that how expensive it is, right? And I mean, $400,000, that's a lot of money. And if I heard correctly, it covers the full cost. Is that correct? Yes. So it covers the full cost of the street sweeper. And I know ours has been broken, I think, over 3 years now. Is that right? About roughly?
Wow.
A long time.
You'd have to define broken.
Right? Or
It would drive
did?
around,
Okay.
but it didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. It didn't. Yeah. Anyways. All right. Well, that's all that I had to say.
Thank you.
Chris.
You guys have an amazing staff here, and you're right. Even when they're looking at those big projects, there are so many little projects that they are getting completed.
Yeah.
And you have an amazing staff at Toppenish that is always easy to work with.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And is there anything else, Council? No? All right. Well, Chris, have a great evening. Thank you so much. Good to see your husband as well. You guys have a good evening. Take care. All right. We will move on to item number 5, public comment. City Council welcomes public attendance at council meetings. This meeting is for the conduct of regular city business. RCW 4217A 555 prohibits government agencies from allowing the use of public facilities directly or indirectly for campaign purposes. At this time, citizen comments and inquiries about agenda business or general city matters are encouraged. If you wish to address the City Council, please stand or raise your hand so that you can be called upon. After you are recognized, please come forward to the lectern and state your name for the public record. Your remarks must be limited to 3 minutes or less. Please use a microphone. Is there anyone here for public comment? No? 3, 2, 1. All right. We will move on to item number 6, the consent agenda. All matters on the consent agenda have been provided to each council member for review and are considered to be routine or have been previously discussed and will be adopted by one motion and vote without discussion. However, if a council member desires, any item on this agenda will be discussed before any action is taken on it. Item A, approve minutes of the March 10th, 2025 regular meeting. Item B, approve claim checks numbers 100419 through 100468 and bank draft DFT 43 through DFT 45 in the total amount of $159,681.18 dated March the 24th, 2025, and void check 100437. Item C, approve payroll checks numbers 36943 through 36950 and electronic transfers EFT PR 3464 through EFT PR 3474 in the total amount of $287,615.85 dated March 21st, 2025. I will entertain a motion, council.
I move to approve the consent agenda in its entirety.
I'll second it.
Great. We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Garza, seconded by Councilman Garcia to approve the consent agenda in its entirety. Any further discussion, council? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to item number 7, new business, AB 25-016, proposed resolution 2025-013, accept agreement with Rio Volt PLLC for hearing examiner services. City Manager Ford.
Yes, Mayor and Council. Gosh, it seems like it's been a long evening already.
Uh-huh,
for
it
whatever
does,
reason.
yeah.
What a great evening with the wrestlers. Director Hattori is going to talk to you about our needs and efforts associated with securing the services for a hearing examiner.
Great, welcome.
Thank you, City Manager Ford, Mayor and Council. So the City of Toppenish utilizes a hearing examiner format for some decisions and recommendations on different types of applications, whether those are special uses, rezones, right-of-way vacations. And that hearing examiner is a third party, so they take in information from staff and make a decision based on laws and our comprehensive plan, or make recommendations to council itself on those types of applications. Some of those, if you apply for, say, a special permit today, since we do not have a hearing examiner, we could not move forward with that application. And so this resolution before you is an agreement, a contract with Rio Foltz for hearing examiner services at a rate of $200 per hour. I will note that some of our applications do require that the applicants pay for their services. So for the most part, we will be reimbursed that money, or we will cover it up front. And with that, I'm over here for any questions, comments, or concerns.
Yes, I have a question here. Is this something that is also required for a person if they are trying to change a sign on their business?
No, this is only for higher level applications, such as special permits for like churches and schools, rezones if you want to change the zoning of your land. Something like construction of signs or changing out signs is generally going to be just a building permit that's administratively done.
Okay. Are there any other questions, Council? No, Councilman Garza.
So who sets the rate, and is that, you had mentioned that whoever's applying for the permit, that's their responsibility?
Yeah, for most of our applications, it would be the applicant's responsibility. The rate at $200 per hour is agreed upon with Rio Foltz. It's their rate that we are willing or bringing forward.
Do we know what the average is roughly per, or as far as the cost is per application?
Not for the hearing examiner specific services. I'm not aware. I haven't been involved in any of those hearings to date. I'm not sure if anybody else knows.
No, and just to give council a little bit of an idea, as you all know, I mean, I've been here for 3 years. We have not. Dan was our hearing examiner for a little while. Mm-hmm. I believe that we had one hearing in that amount of time. that Dan officiated for us, assisted us with. So our need really isn't a tremendously high need, but it is something, as Director Hortoria says, we just don't have a choice, right? If we're going to offer the level of services that we want to offer here for Toppenish for our citizens and make sure that the efforts that we have are sound and the judgments, determinations are sound, we need to go through this effort. And again, we're as we were with Mr. Hyde, and very thankful for his efforts, as you all know. I think this is going to prove to be the same.
Great. So this is just in the case of
Exactly.
needing. Okay. Any other questions, Council? No?
I just
Councilwoman.
I just want to comment that I looked up their website. It looks like they work with the city of Richland, Pasco, West Richland, Union Gap, and Othello. So I don't know how we chose them, but it looks like they already have a history working with cities in our area.
All right. Nothing else, Council? No? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hattori. In that case, I will entertain a motion. We do have a recommendation. Thank you.
I will move to approve Resolution 2025-013 to accept the agreement with Rio Foltz PLLC for hearing examiner services.
I'll second.
Great. We have a motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Belton, seconded by Councilman Sanchez to approve Resolution 2025-13, authorizing the city manager to enter into agreement with Rio Foltz PLLC for hearing examiner services. Any further discussion, Council? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to item number B, AB 25-017, proposed resolution 2025-014, accept comprehensive plan update for the public participation plan. City Manager Ford.
Yeah, again, Mayor and Council, Director Hattori will walk us through a comprehensive plan update and the public participation necessary for same. So I think he's also got a bit of a guest this evening.
Great.
Thank you again, City Manager Ford, Mayor, and City Council. Yes, as you may know, the City of Toppenish is currently going through our 2026 periodic update for our comprehensive plan. As a part of that, we are required and want to develop a public participation plan and that kind of lays out how we're going to engage the public for their input through this process. I'm going to pass it off to our consultant, Joseph Calhoun from HLA, who's going to speak a little bit on that.
Great. Welcome, Mr. Calhoun.
Good evening,
Hi.
Mayor and Council. Joseph Calhoun, HLA, Engineering and Land Surveying. So as mentioned, we're in the midst of the 2026 Comprehensive Plan update, and this public participation plan before you tonight is one of your first deliverables in this effort. The document outlines the anticipated ways that we will get the word out so the public can actively participate throughout the planning project. One of the primary methods for distributing information will be through a dedicated project website on the city's webpage, which will kind of be the hub of all information as it becomes available. We're drafting that language now and anticipate that it will be live in the next few weeks. As this is a long-term process, we want there to be multiple ways to provide feedback. So we want to hold open house or informational sessions where specific topics can be discussed in greater detail and include other opportunities such as a survey, creation of a mailing list, scheduling of one-on-one meetings, and of course the final official public comment period and public hearing process that will happen later on in the planning period. We have created the plan in both English and Spanish because we want to make sure that language isn't a barrier as we go through this process for people to participate. So we anticipate formal notices and other procedural documents like that will be translated in English and Spanish, and we'll also have interpreter services available at public meetings as needed. The Planning Commission is heavily involved in this as well. We've been providing regular updates and will continue to do so to them. And in fact, the Planning Commission at their February meeting reviewed this document and recommended approval. So with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Great. Do you have a timeline from start to finish?
Start to finish is basically now through June 2026. That's when the grant funding goes through.
Okay. Any questions, council?
So this is a really cool document that you prepared. I really appreciate the fact that it's centered on public participation. I think one of the hardest things we face as a council and here in our city is public participation. Tonight was not a usual meeting where there was a lot of people from our community here. So I kind of interested to know like where these engagement nights are going to be held or open house like you mentioned, so the public, where we could invite the public to come and participate and give input.
That's a great question. None of that's been solidified as of yet. In my career, where we've done these things in the past is like schools are good places. In Yakima, we did an open house at the Wyvie Tech Skills Center, so kind of a neutral site, if you will. It's not a formal public council meeting where people might be intimidated to come and provide input. So that's where I'll work closely with your staff to identify where those locations might be, what existing community events that are pre-scheduled would be opportunities to attend as well. So it's kind of a fluid situation at this point. We want to provide as many opportunities as we can for people to provide comment, and we'll be malleable in this process to be able to accommodate that.
Just in the past, just FYI, it's normally been held over at the middle school.
Okay.
So just for the public, can you maybe give some specific type of information that is trying to be sought from the public as far as the planning?
So what this process is doing is effectively the state has developed these checklists that identify all the different laws that have changed over the last several years that are applicable to cities and counties of various sizes. There's a lot of housing bills in this recent session that don't apply in Toppenish, but some of them still do. So really it's looking at the state requirements that cities have to implement, but there's still some wiggle room there to make them fit the local government. So for example, one of the recent changes in housing are related to accessory dwelling units. ADUs, which all cities in the state have to allow 2 ADUs on any lot that allows a single family home. But there's still local opportunity to define how that is allowed, because you can still look at things like setbacks and lot coverage and building height, utility connection. So it's really getting that engagement going to make sure that what's being required of the city fits with the city and is a complement to both your comprehensive plan and implemented throughout your development regulations.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard and read some reports of some residents, not here, but in other places, that are looking or have already started to implement those things of concerns with, like you said, height of these ADUs that are being built, and also congestion as far as parking on public streets and things like that. So there's definitely some concerns, and also it would be good input from current homeowners, because I think that could also have an impact in the future. And so I know that it's important for homeowners to also be aware of those things and to know why certain things are being implemented. So on. So, all right. Anything else, council? No? All right. Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me see. So we do have a recommendation, council. I will entertain a motion.
I will move to approve Resolution 2025-14, adopting a public participation plan for updating the comprehensive plan for the city of Toppenish.
I'll second.
Great. We have a motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Belton and seconded by Councilwoman Duvall to approve Resolution 2024-14, adopting a public participation plan for updating the comprehensive plan for the city of Toppenish. Any further discussion, council? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Great. We will move on to item number 6. AB 25-018, proposed resolution 2025-15, approved Teamsters General Collective Bargaining Agreement. City Manager Ford.
Yes, Mayor and Council, our last new business item for this evening is our Teamsters Collective Bargaining Agreement. And I will say that, this year, not unlike other years, has been a real challenge. You know that last year we went through a lot of budget discussions. We had to make some really difficult decisions. Not only did we talk about parks and Parks Rec and aquatics, but we also had to unfortunately do some layoffs last year because of our budget situation. I will tell you that, I was really thankful this year. Our Director Vaughn was part of these discussions, as was Interim Public Works Director Burgess, as Public Works has many of the Teamsters employees that work for them. And again, just to kind of wrap it up, this is a 3-year agreement. It includes Public Works, as I mentioned. There are police staff, there's finance staff, and this 3-year agreement is fairly conservative, again, because of those budget constraints. But both sides were very workable and very understanding of that. And happy to answer any questions that you might have. Director Vaughn is kind of sitting in the ready as well, should he have any questions that are more from a financial nature.
Great. Do you have any input that you'd like to share?
No, just one quick thing is you'll also receive the Teamster Supervisor contract, which they're just waiting to vote. Probably the next council, you'll also vote on that one.
Great. Okay. Are there any questions, Council? Councilwoman Duvall.
Yes. Can you explain what is the standby rate? Like, when is that applied? I've never seen that.
Yeah, so basically what the standby designation allows is sort of that's the person that's going to be available after work hours to respond to various emergencies or other things related to public works. So it's the type of thing where if you're on standby, you have to be, kind of ready to act to do that. So it's a typical thing where cities will provide some compensation to be designated as standby. As of right now, the talk is some, if not most, weekends to do standby, and then all holidays. And then, of course, other parts of the CBA would apply if they are called in to work.
Most all public service companies, telephone companies, gas companies, city, public works, all have standby pay, especially for weekends and holidays. Otherwise, you have an emergency and nobody's home.
Right?
Yeah.
It's coming. Okay.
Yeah, it's like
That's very important for the public health of our community.
Public Works, fire department has a structure fire. They gotta have the main water line shut down. They gotta call someone from Public Works and come in and shut it down. He's off duty after hours, and so that's basically this is gonna cover a person being designated to standby. Basically, he's gonna be available to come in on an emergency basis and help out.
And believe me, nobody likes it. They want to go on their holidays and have their weekends.
Right. This is a really positive thing for us, as you're all discovering, and the discussion's going that direction. And this is something, again, the team was very open. The receiving team was very open to, and the management team was very helpful in bringing this up and pointing it out.
Great. Any Councilman Garza?
So the COLA, isn't it kind of standard, like 3% or in the previous past?
Yeah, so last year, the Teamsters fell a little bit behind. Our police and fire, I think, earned 7%, 5%, and 4% the 3 previous years. And Teamsters, the way their negotiation fell, obviously kind of lagged behind those COVID years. And so we gave them a 7.8% increase last year. And so this 3% increase, if you also remember, when we approved the budget, we approved a 3% rate increase. So that was kind of our target mark when we were going into these negotiations. So that's where that COLA fits into everything. So that, yes, this is this is budgeted, it has been planned. Just a couple kinks and logistics to get worked out is why it's now, and we're hoping, crossing our fingers as we enter into this year, having to negotiate both our police and fire contracts. I'm hoping, and we'll try to push to get them approved before we approve the budget.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
don't hold me.
Yeah.
We'll try.
Oh, well, thank you for that. We really appreciate being proactive. It definitely helps our city just to plan ahead. And I just want to thank the finance department, public works, and the police employees that are were also very agreeable with helping to ensure that this process is as seamless as possible. So, if there aren't any other questions, council, I will entertain a motion. Thank you, Director. Any motion, council?
I will move to
Everybody's
approve
tired.
Resolution 2025-15, authorizing the city manager to sign a Teamsters collective bargaining agreement for years 2025 through 2027.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Great. We have a motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Belton, seconded by Councilman Sanchez to approve Resolution 2025-15, authorizing the city manager to sign Teamsters collective bargaining agreement for the years 2025 through 2027. Any further discussion, council? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Great. We're steady moving. We're just moving right along. We are at item number 8, council meeting reports and community announcements. Let's start on our left here with Councilman Garcia.
I got to attend the YBCOG meeting in Granger, and it was pretty good. And got to talk with some of the people that haven't seen for a while. Tony Miller was the speaker and everything. He's with the EMS office, and he brought up some really good points about the disasters that had happened from you're talking from the 80s till now, from floods, the fires that they had up at this last year, wildland fires with their services and everything. And so he's doing a great job and everything. He did a really good presentation, and you guys missed out on a nice dinner. That much I will say. Dave Pearson was the guy that furnished everything, and when he brought out the stuff, the steaks, I'm not kidding, were that big and that big.
Lovely.
Slow smoked.
Oh my goodness. Everybody's
It
hungry.
was great. So had a good time.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you. Councilman Sanchez?
Excuse me. I had nothing to report.
Okay. Councilman Garza?
Nothing to report tonight.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem Belton?
Nothing for the good of the order.
All right. Councilwoman Duval?
I've kind of been working with Adam and the city manager to try to get some letters of support from our community partners. I've had meetings with 2 people, one being the Toppenish superintendent, and he was very willing to help us with that letter, so very appreciative of him to do that. And also been working on trying to get the Farm Workers Clinic to also support our efforts in getting funding for our new police department and the wastewater treatment plant when we go out for federal and state funding. Thank you.
Great. Is that all?
That's it.
Okay. I thought you were going to report on the homeless meeting you attended.
Oh, I did. I was there to listen.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Right. So was I. Great. I do have a report. On March the 10th, I was in Washington, D.C. on behalf of our city. And with the help of our city's federal consultant, John Colton, I met with administrative assistants for Senator Maria Cantwell, Senator Patty Murray, and Representative Mike Baumgartner's office, which is connected with Representative Dan Newhouse. I want to make sure I said that correctly. I discussed our city's needs for support from each, or with each representative's assistant, and focused on 2 of our most urgent projects. As I shared, our city's required requirements and the critical position in which we find ourselves right now, I really was seeking and asking for financial support for two essential projects, which are, as Councilwoman Duvall mentioned, our public safety facility was what we are calling this police department that we need, right? And the ask there was for $1.5 million and our wastewater treatment plant. And we were asking for a $2 million contribution to help ensure the safety and health of our community, and just to ensure that support for and the benefit for many years to come. I explained that visiting Washington, D.C. for these meetings was a significant step forward for our city. It's something that I have not been a part of for the last 7 years that I've been on the city council. However, it was informed to us that in the past, they have state legislators and representatives have really seen those type of efforts as something that is important to recognize and to honor the cities through. And the consultant that we have, John Colton, was extremely beneficial. The knowledge that he had, not only just being and moving around in Washington, D.C., but also with the representatives, each of the departments, the assistants, the grounds, the funding sources. And I really felt that we made a very positive decision when we decided to take a step forward with that, because even if we get funding for one of these projects, the return on that investment is going to be huge. And so I just want to thank John for the time and the effort that he made, and also just for being very gracious with the information and the knowledge that he has on behalf of our city in Washington, D.C. So I explained when we were doing these meetings that we were at all day that, again, this is a significant step forward for our city. And I shared our community is comprised of 85% Latinos, and 32 of them living below the median household income. And because of that, our city faces many challenges that can't be ignored any longer. A lot of the projects that we have, I was sharing with the representatives' assistants that these are critical already. I shared how we had to declare an emergency with our wastewater treatment plant. I shared that our city is second with the highest utility taxes. I shared, and I have to admit that there was a moment where I got kind of emotional because I was just trying to stress the importance for our residents. If we can secure funding for these projects, the $1.5 million for our public safety facility or the $2 million for our wastewater treatment plant, then that is less money that our residents have to pay for. And I would like to report that everyone was very just very positive. They were really impressed that our city took the time to send someone to meet with them in person, face to face. I stress the fact that our city has been in the shadows for so long, and I was asking them to please take some time to really look at our needs and look at our community, and maybe give us some grace there, especially since, other bigger cities have been supported and have gotten the funding, but yet our city that has a greater need compared to other cities that have higher revenue sources are getting the support, but yet we haven't. And they were very open to that. They were very gracious. They felt that our ask was well within what is acceptable and doable, and so they were very encouraging. And so I hope that in the next few weeks we will be able to hear some positive outcomes for that. So definitely, say a prayer, keep your fingers crossed, whatever it is that you have to do. But I was just really thankful for that opportunity, and you can imagine I was taking advantage of every single second that I was in those meetings. And Latinas are not we don't have any struggle with words, so But John was very gracious, and he kind of kept us on track and made sure that he touched base on some potential funding sources that were going to be coming up. And so we are hoping that as the government moves forward, that our projects will shine and be brought out of the shadows that we have been in. So I just wanted to report that to our residents and to our council, and just hope that we see a great return from this effort. City Manager Ford.
Yeah, Mayor, again, I just want to thank you for your flexibility and the ability for you as an elected to go and have that visit and have those discussions. You know, that's one of the things that was brought to our attention. It's one thing to be staff and to go and talk to these individuals and represent communities. It's a whole nother to be an elected and you know, have the voice of the people. And I think that makes a huge difference. I did want to bring up very quickly, I know this evening's rather long evening, but there's a couple of things that were touched on that I wanted to talk about if I could.
Sure, yes, please.
Just briefly. So I had some concerns shared before council tonight about our council vacancy. As you'll know, we're down one council member, and I will share with you that myself, staff, and specifically the city clerk have talked about making some minor changes to our application process for council. And we've done that. We've also presented or prepared a schedule that we'll bring to your attention and get your input on that, as well as some modifications to our questions and those type of things. Again, we want to learn as we go along. As a council, we want to continue to grow, and we want to try to bring those staff's perspective and what we're seeing to you as well. And get your approval or get your input. So I just didn't want to let that go and think that we weren't doing anything to that end. The other item that's been mentioned quite a bit is the street sweeper. And yes, Mayor said it perfectly. We try to be very humble. We try to be rather quiet. I think that Public Works staff has done an excellent job with the equipment that they've had. They've picked up more material than has ever been picked up by the street sweeper while I've been here. I can definitely say that. But one of the staff members, one of the key staff members we've been missing, and you've probably noticed, is Interim Director Burgess has been out for a number of weeks, and he is battling an illness. He's doing a great job, but we've been kind of waiting for that, as well as to ensure that the funding was 100% completed. As Whitey Cog pointed out, that is a done deal. The mayor has also received a letter along those lines, so we will be receiving a street sweeper that the citizens will see out on the street very shortly, as soon as we can get that ordered. And you're aware that we also have, I think the discussion in our Lands Council meeting was a new garbage truck as well. And again, I just want to be very clear for everybody listening. These funds are not funds. We don't get a blank check and we're able to pick and choose what we're able to do with them. They're very specific funds that we must use for these items. Not unlike our street improvements. My only choice in many of these situations is either I can accept that money and move forward, or I can say, no, the city doesn't want that, and move away from it. So I really appreciate your indulgence in letting me kind of get out there and add a few items this evening. But again, appreciate very much your willingness to go to Washington, D.C. And I think that's going to have huge dividends for us.
I'm hoping so, and it was really my pleasure. I really appreciate that opportunity. And so with that, we will adjourn tonight's meeting. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.